Good afternoon. It's been a while since I've uploaded a video. I apologize for that. I was sick last week and I did not get it all together. But you guys are doing excellent in the class. Quiz grades are great. Your homework grades are great. Your test grades were a little shaky, which is what I kind of expected that first time through. But for the most part, everybody did wonderful. Just know that if you're struggling with anything, if you need something else, something that I'm not providing in the class, whether it's videos, whether it's talking on the phone, whether it's meeting in person, if you're needing something else that you feel I should be doing to help you be successful, let me know and I will do my best to accommodate. But we're going to talk this week about Chapter 7, which is Restaurant Management. So this week the chapter has some math in it. We delve into accounting, but don't freak out. Remember that this is the tip of the iceberg. This is the intro level class. So we don't expect you to learn it all and know it all and memorize it all, but we just want you to be familiar with some of the obstacles and challenges that you will start getting into later on in the major. So the restaurant industry is, like most others, is broken up into front of the house and back of the house. You know, front of the house deals with your guest, your hostess, your curb appeal, you know, what most people think of when they think of a restaurant, where you sit, the decor, everything that is around you. And then the back of the house deals with the kitchen, the ordering, the cooking, just, you know, all the things that go on behind the scenes to make the things in front of the scenes possible. You know, it talks about restaurant forecasting and what all that involves. Restaurant forecasting, as with forecasting with anything, is super important because it's how you kind of anticipate the flow of traffic that you're going to get, the amount of food you need to purchase. So make sure you understand the concept of restaurant forecasting. It talks about service. Obviously, in a restaurant, we're going to deal a lot with the service and the amount of service you get, the quality of service you get, and it also talks about suggestive selling. This is upselling. So, you know, if someone orders a really nice T-bone steak dinner, as a waiter or waitress, you would try to upsell them by adding a bottle of wine that would complement the food very well. Or if you see several people are ordering a certain particular item on the menu, you might try to upsell something in the next price point up. So talking with people, getting them to look at things that are more expensive than what they originally were going to order is the part of the suggestive selling. It talks about, in the front of the house, the point of sale system, or the POS system that is used. So, you know, be familiar with that. The POS system you will learn more about as you go on in the major, but it is one of the major factors in the front of the house. You know, we talk about labor management, financial reporting, a lot of the things. Labor management is one of the financial things you'll deal with on the front of the house. Most of the other financial things happen on the back of the house, but you have to keep costs on your labor costs and your labor management. And then the back of the house, it deals with food production. So you'll have your cook line, your kitchen manager, your staffing, your scheduling, training and development, and production procedures. So, like, there is a procedure for everything. Your line cooks that come in, there's a certain sequence and steps steps that they should go through when they're opening the restaurant, when they're closing the restaurant, and then the manager, which ideally would be you, would come in and follow up to everything and make sure everything was done correctly, and make sure that everything is cleaned and put away and stored and ready to go for the next day. It talks about employee recognition. Again, that's important no matter what industry you're in. Your employees are your best and worst asset. So if you treat them fairly, if you take care of them, if you make them feel like they are important, they will be the best aspect you have. They'll be the best asset you have. If you disregard what they say, you treat them not so well, they're gonna show that. They're gonna act that way. So employee recognition is one of the main concepts to really grasp when you're dealing with becoming a manager, is how to deal with employees. It gets into purchasing, food cost, labor cost, beverage cost. These should seem familiar to you. We've had them in the past, but it gets into a budget sheet. So, restaurant accounting sounds really scary. It's the same in accounting, so you'll have to take accounting. Don't freak out. You need to know what a balance sheet is and why it's important. You'll need to know about operating statements or income statements. Again, those are very important parts of the puzzle when you're dealing with restaurants. Some of the mathy things that I want you guys to really focus on, operating ratios such as food cost percentage, contribution margin, labor cost percentage, prime cost, and beverage cost percentage. Excuse me. There is on page 300 and 301, they break down all these different cost percentages. So food cost percentage, they start to break that down on page 299. And then they, break it down and show you how you get a food cost percentage. Under that, contribution margin, the contribution margin is the amount of money that is pure profit for you. So you have chicken that you buy for $2 and you sell it for $9.95. That means there's a contribution margin of $7.95 that is pure profit for the restaurant. So kind of grasping what a contribution margin is and what that looks like and how you get it. Labor cost percentage. It talks about within the different types of service restaurants, there are different types of labor cost percentage. That's kind of the normal. And so it breaks down how you calculate it and how you get to the labor cost percentage, and that's on page 301. The prime cost, that's when you combine the food and labor. So the prime cost is essentially what your restaurant is costing you overall. Okay? And that is just a simple addition problem. It's your labor cost and your food cost, and that gives you your prime cost. Your beverage cost percentage is also on page 301. And so just, pay attention to that. It breaks it all down. Math may not be your strong suit, and that's okay. Math was not my strong suit. But, I got through accounting, and I got through these beginning classes, and so you will too. It'll be fine. And so it goes on, the rest of the chapter goes on to talk about expenses. If you lease your restaurant, do you own your restaurant? There are controllable expenses, and then there are uncontrollable expenses.